Malcolm X, one of the most articulate exponents of the black Muslim philosophy, has said of your movement and your philosophy that it plays into the hands of the white oppressors, that they are happy to hear you talk about love for the oppressor because this disarms the Negro and fits into the stereotype of the Negro as a neat, turning the other cheek sort of creature. Would you care to comment on Mr. X's?
Chapter 23. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. Therefore thus saith the Lord God of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel, and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil ways, and from the evil of their doings. Am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God afar off? Can any hide himself in secret places, that I shall not see him, saith the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, saith the Lord? I have heard what the prophets said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day.
How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points.
When a brave woman named Rosa Parks was told to move to the back of the bus, she said no. A young minister in a local Baptist church, Martin Luther King, then organized a boycott of the bus company, a boycott that stunned the country. And in one sweltering August day in 1963, he addressed 250,000 people at the Lincoln Memorial. If American history grows from 2 centuries to 20, his words that day will never be forgotten. I have a dream.
My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Dr. King's faith and his love for humanity led him and so many other heroes to courageously stand up for civil rights of African Americans.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare, turned into a nightmare, turned into a nightmare, turned into a nightmare.
That dream that I had that day has at many points
turned into a nightmare.
You know, the last thing Dr. King said to me before he was murdered, Martin said, you know, I sit here deeply concerned that I suspect we are leading our nation on an integration trip that has us integrating into a burning house. Most of the politicians I know of make promises only to walk into the places of power and then deny us. I guess part of the reason I'm here is to really look through the ravages of the Democratic Party and see if anything is really worth salvaging.
Wow. Right? My jaw was on the floor. Now, Dr. Pepper knows this because the son of the nurse, Lula Mae Shelby, who died, but before she died told her family, the son of this nurse told Dr. Pepper under oath. And when Dr. Pepper confronted a member of the Dixie Mafia, he said, yes, this happened, and actually that the chief of surgery was their family doctor, and that 3 weeks before the assassination, he visited them and said, hey, if the bullet doesn't kill him, make sure he goes to St. Joseph's, because we will make sure that he dies.
No matter how, I'm gonna stand the test of time. Ask me why and ask me how. By Shem, YAHAWASHI. Right before your hateful eyes, the many times you made me cry, the many times I wanna die. The Most High, He held me down, waiting for that trumpet sound. I pray I'm worthy for the crown. By Shem, YAHAWASHI, Yasha Allah. The army of the Most High. Let's boast now and toast now. We coast now with no frown. Esau goes down.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
So like I said, I spoke to Dr. Pepper earlier today. Here's what he had to say about the way Dr. Martin Luther King was actually killed.
Wow. He wasn't killed from the bullet that hit him on the balcony. He was taken to the St. Joseph's Hospital, and he was killed in the emergency room of St. Joseph's Hospital by the chief of neurosurgery, Dr. Breen Bland, who came in when they were all working on him in the emergency room, and he said, "Get out of here, let that die." And as they moved out of the room, the last one out was a surgical nurse, Lula Mae Shelby, and when she heard them gathering up spit in their lungs to spit on Martin's body lying on a bed there, then she saw Dr. Bland take the catheters out of Martin's body and take the pillow from under his head and put it over his face and suffocate him. And that's how Martin King died. That's how he was really assassinated. Now, he might have died anyway from the bullet wounds, but he didn't. He was still alive and still breathing. The chief neurosurgeon, he intervened, and he made sure that death would result.
Wow. Right? My jaw was on the floor. Now, Dr. Pepper knows this because the son of the nurse, Lula Mae Shelby, who died, but before she died told her family, the son of this nurse told Dr. Pepper under oath. And when Dr. Pepper confronted a member of the Dixie Mafia, he said, yes, this happened, and actually that the chief of surgery was their family doctor, and that 3 weeks before the assassination, he visited them and said, hey, if the bullet doesn't kill him, make sure he goes to St. Joseph's, because we will make sure that he dies. Now, let's talk about this case, okay? This was the civil suit in 1999 where Pepper represented the King family, and that really made the family feel like they had closure, and like I said, it was the only trial ever held. The Memphis jury in this case decided that local, state, and federal governments were liable for King's death, and that this was a real conspiracy, a conspiracy between the U.S. military, the Memphis PD, and Dixie Mafia, these crime figures in Memphis, Tennessee.
This is just for the audience.
Right.
This is a civil case that was brought, much like the O.J. case.
Right, where
they couldn't find him guilty here, but finally when a civil jury heard it, they came out with a
It was the only trial, yes, and there was 30 days of trial, and over 70 witnesses were heard. And Dr. Pepper told me earlier today that it took the jury less than an hour to decide after these 30 days
that this was a true conspiracy.
Correct.
Where others may have been involved.
Correct.
Other than the person who was accused.
And that James Earl Ray was the fall man, and that he was unwittingly, unknowingly part of this conspiracy. And the real shooter, I gotta say this even though we can't get to the whole story, was Frank Strouser. He was a Memphis police officer, the best shot in the Memphis PD, and he was the one who actually fired the fatal shot.
What's up, this Star Wolf? Now that clip, that's some cold, wicked shit right there. And I believe it too. Because everything ain't always what it seems. They talking about how Martin Luther King, if he wasn't listening correctly, they saying that Martin Luther King Jr. was not killed by the bullet. He was suffocated in the hospital by the doctor. And the doctor, I guess, was allegedly heard saying, fuck the nigger, you know? So, my thing is this. How many other people had this happened to? How many other black prominent leaders in the community around the United States had they done this to. Now apparently this was done by the Dixie Mafia, and the Dixie Mafia is a white racist criminal organization that originated out of Biloxi, Mississippi. They specialize in bootlegging, gambling, just various criminal activities. And this murder was carried out by them. So, and if you listen carefully, you could hear, the guy that was explaining the situation, that was telling it, he was saying that the doctor stated, if they don't kill him here, or if he don't die here, then take him to another hospital, and they'll make sure that they kill him there. So apparently the bullet did not kill Martin Luther King. He probably was still living. He was still breathing. They knew that he probably would make it, and so they suffocated him with a pillow. Now that's some cold racist shit right there. That's very, very, very cold, very calculated, very racist, and it lets you know. It puts you in what it does is put you in the mind frame of, okay, how many of our people have they actually done like this? And I'm not just talking about leaders now. I'm talking about just different black individuals, family members, your husbands, your wives, or whatever, your children, go in there, shot, and they did this too. Everybody was thinking that Martin Luther King was killed by the bullet, and now we're finding out that he may have been suffocated. This is some cold, dirty shit, peoples. But I just want to bring this to everybody's attention. I seen this, and this was shocking to me. But anyway, I hear more about this. I'll keep y'all updated. All right, I'm Star Wolf. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that like button and that notification bell so y'all can get these videos when they drop. Peace.
The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream. And he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat, saith the Lord? Is not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that use their tongues, and say, He saith. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies and by their lightness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare.